Haven't you experienced those nights when you wake up in the middle of the night and just can't fall back asleep? Every time you look at the clock, your anxiety grows thinking it's already this late, and it becomes even harder to sleep. When you think about work and plans for the next day, an overwhelming sense of worry washes over you, right? I understand that feeling all too well, but don't worry. In this video, I'll share 5 things you should never do to avoid falling into this vicious cycle. Knowing these could help you fall back asleep more smoothly and free you from the anxiety of facing the morning. If you find this video helpful, please hit the subscribe button and give us a thumbs up. Now, let's look at some tips for getting back to deep sleep. Before we get into our top 5 things to avoid during middle of the night wakings, I have a question for everyone. What health risks can arise from continued sleep interruptions? I truly understand how difficult it is when you keep experiencing these night wakings. Every time you wake up in the middle of the night, you worry about the next day, don't you? I've had similar experiences, so I understand your struggle. But this isn't just about not being able to sleep. Did you know that frequent sleep interruptions can increase your risk of diabetes by 1.5 to 2 times? This happens because sleep deprivation increases cortisol, a stress hormone, which makes it easier for blood sugar levels to rise. You might be surprised to hear about such risks, but this is the reality. Moreover, the risk of high blood pressure increases by about 1.9 times. Sleep deprivation has as significant an impact as other risk factors for hypertension. The risk of heart disease also increases, which might make you worry, is my body going to be okay? But that's not all. It also has a major impact on mental health. Data shows that continued sleep interruptions dramatically increase the risk of depression. You know that feeling of stress and anxiety that floods in every time you wake up in the middle of the night? That burden can further erode your mental health. It affects daytime performance too. Increased sleepiness and fatigue make it hard to concentrate on work or studies. Many of you probably relate to this. Weakened immune function and increased risk of obesity are other serious problems caused by sleep deprivation. That's exactly why I don't want you to ignore this problem. I want you to take steps toward improvement, even small ones. Because your health is precious, let's think about appropriate countermeasures together. The first of our top 5 things to avoid during middle of the night wakings is using smartphones or computers. When you wake up, it's tempting to reach for your phone. That bright blue light stimulates your brain and can make you completely alert, right? You might think, just for a minute, but as you keep scrolling, you miss your window to fall back asleep. Sound familiar? Try to imagine how frightening it is that your smartphone might be keeping you from sleep. Can you find the courage to put it down right now? The second of our top 5 things to avoid during middle of the night wakings is spending too long in bed. When you can't sleep, that pressure of I must sleep keeps building up, right? I understand those feelings well because I've struggled with the same thing. But actually, this behavior teaches your brain that bed is a place for being awake, which can make insomnia even worse. To keep your bed a place of peace, it might be important to leave it when you can't sleep. Have you considered the danger of your bed becoming a place where you can't sleep? The third is drinking alcohol. While having a nightcap might make you feel like it's easier to fall asleep, it actually disrupts the latter half of your sleep and makes you more likely to wake up during the night. You might think, a little drink will help me relax, but in reality, it leads to morning fatigue and lower sleep quality. If alcohol seems like your ally, but is actually your sleep's worst enemy, what would you do? The fourth is watching the clock. When you check the time thinking, how many hours can I still sleep? It creates anxiety about running out of time, doesn't it? Thinking it's already this late leads to a vicious cycle of being even less able to sleep. What if that pressure is what's constricting your mind? The courage to not look at the clock might attract better sleep. The last of our top 5 things to avoid during middle of the night wakings is exposure to bright light. When you wake up to use the bathroom at night, don't you instinctively turn on the lights? That light can affect your internal clock and strengthen your wake mode. You might feel, I need the light, but it could actually be preventing you from falling back asleep. If embracing the darkness could be your shortcut to comfortable sleep, what would you do? Every time you wake up in the middle of the night, your mind gets restless with anxiety, doesn't it? Your thoughts start spinning with worries like, Am I going to face another morning without sleep? Everyone has probably experienced this at least once. I truly understand that frustration and despair of wanting to sleep but not being able to. But don't worry. By making small adjustments and changing habits, your sleep should gradually improve. By avoiding the behaviors we've discussed in this video, falling back asleep might become much easier. There's no need to blame yourself. Let's start doing what we can from today to help you achieve more comfortable sleep. If you found this video helpful, please subscribe to our channel and hit the like button. We'll continue to bring you information to support your sleep and health next time. Let's work together toward better days ahead.